everybody. I am Alpha Bird. The dog was literally downstairs. He's heard that intro. And he's come racing up the stairs. What is all the commotion? I'm sure that's what he's thinking. Sorry. So we are going to carry on our coverage of the charity tournament today. And in fact, this is the last game we're going to do from the Steel Division 2 charity tournament. So soak up the feel-good charity feelings in this final video. And it should be a good one, hopefully. Should be a nice video to end on. So this one's being recorded after the charity tournament has taken place, clearly. It took place last weekend as I'm recording it. And just over $1,000 was raised. A really fantastic amount of money. And not quite as much as last time, I think. But, yeah, still an incredible job. So congratulations to everyone that donated. Pat yourselves on the back. And I think it's Willie Sam got in touch with me, and Proxy also got in touch with me to tell me that they donated. Well, not necessarily as watching the videos, but you know, a member of the channel. They donated as well. And today we'll do the same as we did last week. For every points difference in the kills to loss ratio between the two players at the end of the day, at the end of the game, I will convert that to cents and donate that to the charity. It's not an amazing amount, but then, you know, if I was to make it more than that, I don't know whether I could afford it if things went pear-shaped. Right, let's just get out of the intro now. So I've spoken for about 2.5 minutes of rubbish, I'm sure. So today's match, we have ElBowser on the left-hand side against Ortfein Frederica von Eidelstadt, who is on the right-hand side. Let me just center the view for you there, so you can see it. ElBowser is playing the 17th SS Panzergrenadier or Maverick Income, and Ortfein is playing the 1st Panzerner, which we don't see very often. So it's actually really nice to see them in action. Let's have a look at ElBowser's deck. The 17th SS Panzergrenadier are actually, I think, a really strong infantry division, possibly one of the strongest infantry divisions in the game. I think they're actually classed as mechanized, so I tend to separate divisions into either armored or non-armored, though, and everything that's non-armored, I call it infantry. So I personally still classify this as an infantry division, but it is mechanized. Because, yeah, looking at the infantry, none of them are in half tracks. They're all in trucks. So can you really call it mechanized? I don't truly know what the designator is for it. The reason why it would be called mechanized. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. So, 72 units of infantry, almost a full tab there. SS Legionary are the fanatical troops. They don't surrender. And I believe Eugen have made it now so they can actually surrender enemy units, because before it was a case of they didn't surrender but they couldn't surrender. But now they can surrender other troops. They just don't surrender themselves. We've got some Volksdeutsch in there as well in A and B phase for some extra infantry. What else have we got that's interesting? Stuck 4s, they're always interesting, although there's only 10 of them. But then a Maverick division, and I would also include the Jagdpanzer 4 in the kind of assessment of tanks / armoured vehicles. Marder 3Ms as well, but they're a little bit lighter. So Ortfine has about 14 heavy vehicles to get through as first Panzerner. He's probably going to rely on his Fireflies to do that. But, you know, flak 4188 mils are just very strong. I don't want to make observations, but yeah, I mean, 8 flak 4188 mils. SD2 really likes to get those large numbers of units out on the ground, doesn't it? Ordfine Federico von Eilstadt is on the right-hand side playing the first Panzerner. So he does have a card of Fireflies. He has 2. The A-Phase Firefly 1C and the C-Phase Firefly 5C. So are they going to be the armoured vehicles to do the job? Well, actually, it looks like the 17-pounders are probably going to be the main threat to ElBowser's armoured vehicles. And the Fireflies are... the 17-pounders will be the main threat. And I'm hearing they are actually pretty strong right now. So it'd be cool to see them in action. 62 units of infantry, not as many. And actually, I think a lot of the infantry is weaker than the German equivalent. Not so much than the Volksdeutsch, but certainly the SS Legionary. They are going to be very strong at the start of the game for ElBowser. Both players have off maps. And we got quite a few Hurricanes in the air tab for Ortfine as well. So hopefully we do get treated to a nice, decent game. And let's get the game underway. So thank you to Phil Uminati, one of my recent channel members. Just go through the history of channel members joining. And yeah, thanks for the support. So just a quick recap. ElBowser on the left-hand side in blue playing the 17th SS on Maverick Income. Going to try and use those fast traction vehicles. Don't know whether he's going to be able to. And on the right-hand side in red, we have Ortfine Federico von Eilstadt playing the first Panzerner, also on Maverick Income. So here come the Flammenwerfs in the tractions, but there's a few Cromwells and Firefly that have made it into... Wow! In fact, look at all the infantry coming into the absolute open from ElBowser. I'm a little bit worried about that infantry. Yeah, some of them start to go down and ElBowser unloads them and thinks they're better off on foot. He's probably right, to be fair. Some of it do make it into the forest up north as well, but there's a Morris LRC on the way. A couple of SIG 33s in there and an immediate J87 G1 Stuka flying onto the battlefield. Let's just go on board this Stuka as we pass by the Legionary being slaughtered in the open. Looks like a change of direction onto the Cromwell 5s. Fine, tries to back them away, but one of them does go down. Hopefully the sound effects wasn't too bad there. I'm just looking at the sound levels and it got pretty loud. Hopefully they weren't too bad. I might have to tone that down in future. Look at all of ElBowser's units just caught in the open and pinned down. Ju-87 G1 is going to turn around. It's got 6 shots left. Focusing on the Firefly. Ortfine's trying to get it behind the building, I think. Break that line of sight, and does so. ElBowser calls away that Ju-87. So, the SIG-33 does go down up north. I'm just wondering whether that Cromwell is focusing. Yeah, I have a feeling... Well, we can see that Lolly has ordered that... Ortfine has ordered that attack command, which is a very wise thing to do to ensure that that unit goes down. Really, because it can fire at 2 kilometers, and a lot of the earlier equipment onto the field in Burning Baltics doesn't fire at the full 2 kilometers. Just taking a quick look down south, there's a Cromwell 5 in here helping to take out the SS Legionary along with the infantry and Vickers machine guns in there. And ElBowser looks like he's taken a lot of infantry losses early on, and especially his like strongest infantry units, his main infantry force has just been obliterated. Bofors already in place does, I think, yeah, it does force back one of the JUs. The other one does make it on target, but no real threat to the Firefly 1C for now. Will the Stug 4 be able to get into a position to contest? Nope, the Firefly moves forward, should be able to get a shot onto that Stug. ElBowser quickly trying to back that one away, but the Firefly is going to get another opportunity. Misses the second shot. Will it get a third? I think so, but it might struggle to get a fourth. Ooh, big hit on the front. Will it get that fourth shot off? Yes, it will. And there's the kill. Good kill from that Firefly 1C. Onto the Stug. A lot of that SS Legionary went down there. Yeah, and there's a new full-strength squad in there from ElBowser. But up north, ElBowser has captured this whole area with his SS Legionary, led by Pioneers, along with some Volksdeutsche Führer and a Panzerschreck. And the Mordor's starting to push forward as well. The Morris LRC shouldn't really be any threat to them. So ElBowser might be able to capitalise on the situation. We have some Bren units going into the area, but they won't be able to stand up one-on-one. Oh, as a Panzergren goes down in the transport there. I think that was a Panzergren. The M5 half-tracks actually might help out the Bren units here. Panzerschreck making its way forward to try and contest, yeah, take out those half-tracks. As I hear a JU-87 coming in there. Not sure whether it got a kill. But I just wanted to back away to watch that. So one of the half-tracks went down there. The Panzerschreck's trying to follow for the second kill, but I don't think he's going to get it. One of the, in fact, both of the Bren units have gone down as that half-track is in full reverse. Actually, it's in full frontal moving forwardness. Yeah, Ziwadowski needs to get further into the forest there, and that thing is being fired upon by the Marders, but a lovely little push forwards, although not sustained at this point. I ought to find Frederica might cut off those central units. The territory, I know, will stay actually, because there is a Pioneer Führer in the position. So both players, I think, are kind of now over the initial engagements and skirmishing early on. We are 7 minutes in. ElBowser has the 13-11, but Ortfine does have a decent position in the centre. We do have some pack 40s slowly stalking their way forwards. It might come into play very soon. Sexton 87 mil on the way as well to provide some artillery cover. Maybe contest against those pack 40s. And the Cromwell's starting to spread out a bit, which I think is a good choice there. Looks like a JU attack down south. Spitfire on the way to try and shoot down these Stukas. Reminds me of the early war. There is a flak 36-37 mil. We'll see whether ElBowser drops that one off. Doesn't want to give up the positioning on that flak 36-37 mil and keeps it in the transport. I'm pretty sure Ortfine will be happy with the single kill. Yeah, won't even get the chance for the double. Oh, but it might get on the back of this Ju-87 G1 here. Costly mistake. Ah! ElBowser gets away with it, but the plane might go down to the anti-air anyway. The Spitfire might be able to spin back around. Pack 40 starts to, yeah, the plane does go down. The Pack 40 starts to fire off against the, wow, against the Zwardowski. So using the HE there, but it completely alerts Ortfine to the positioning of that Pack 40, that it's in an ambushing spot there, and Ortfine is able to back away his units. A little bit late on the artillery counterfire though. Not sure whether he is going to use the Sexton to counterfire the Pack 40 or perhaps for a different reason. I think the Firefly did go down eventually, so that must have been the unit that we said earlier. Here comes the strafing run from the Spitfire. Yeah, I think it's the, nope, that's Cromwell. There was a Firefly in here somewhere that I think has gone down. It took out the Stug earlier, but there's a Cromwell 5 going down to the Marder 3 on the edge of the forest, and lovely little cross-firing maneuver by ElBowser. As the Cromwells are in full retreat. We do see an Achilles 2C now onto the battlefield. Lovely little unit, as ElBowser's infantry still in that pocket, still holding strong. A couple of Morris LRCs go down south just to strengthen the position, but I don't think Bowser will be too worried about that, and the Zwardowski are still in there. So it seems like ElBowser likes using his vehicles in threes. So he got 3 Stug 4s and 3 SPW 233s. Finally. Finally, I think the SPW 233s allow the spotting of that recon unit there, hidden in the field. Probably had its head down, face in the dirt, hoping they wouldn't get spotted by anything. Ooh, half-track snipe. Won't be too much of a worry for Ortfine. Does take back this Northern flag, but it's still a 13-11 to Bowser because Ortfine did have this central flag for a while. And because a lot of those Cromwells have gone down and the reinforcements that have come in are Stug 4s, I feel like ElBowser's in a much stronger position than he was. I think he's lost some force down here, and he has lost a hell of a lot of infantry in trades, but I think Ortfine has also lost a fair... It's probably lost more in tanks to make up for the cost in terms of numbers that have gone down on ElBowser's side. Okay, so the Sexton here is to try and help out the infantry in this pocket. The SS Legionary reveal themselves. Ooh, there is, yeah, Marder 3M in here. Is able to pair up with the 233 to take down the Cromwell. Ortfine being very aggressive here. Yeah, decides to back away. I was a bit worried there about the Legionaries kind of swinging in and getting the Panzerfaust kill, but Ortfine does back away. So he's slowly moving through the forest, trying to clear out the positions. Sexton firing on the Flak 41 as we see one of those onto the battlefield now, and a Jagdpanzer 4 up north as well. A fresh amount of infantry and a Kubel. It's going to spot for the off-map artillery down into this southern compound. I imagine he's going to drop it right on that flag. And then push in with those Legionnaires and the reinforcing troops that are ordered in numbers. Sapersi racing forwards now, finally get in touch with the Panzerschreck. They're able to take that kill out. Just a Stug to really go through, and Ortfine will pick up that flag as well. Second Sexton coming in now, I think, to counter the Flak 4188s. And he really does need to counter them as well, because they can just sit on the edge of these tree lines, even back here, you know, on these tree lines, and just cover the entire open area. It's a very strong unit. That comes in very large numbers. Originally, it didn't come in as many numbers as it did. I think the ratio on the cars used to be 1-2-4, and now it's 2-4-6, I believe. So yeah, it did get buffed when the Germans were incredibly weak, and it's holding on to that buff at the moment. Here's the off map and the push from the Volksdeutsch in those trucks. Let's have a quick look at this column coming down the road. Charge of the Opel Blitz. Morris LRCs move in along with Cromwell's. I mean, there's still potential that a lot of units could go down here for ElBowser with these armoured vehicles being in place. The Volksdeutsche, no, they do have the Panzerfaust, so yeah, those vehicles are just gonna go down. Yeah. I just... They're just gonna push straight through. Yeah. I have no words. I have no words. Cromwell and the Morris LRC actually survive here. Might be able to destroy a lot of this infantry, depending on what happens with the Pack 14, the SPWs. Here comes the Ju-87D3. Imagining that's on the Morris, no, on the Cromwell. I guess the Morris is going to die anyway at some point, especially with the 231 being in the area. Spitfire tries to come in for a head-on there. Cromwell, I think, just manages to escape, and the Spitfire might be able to get the kill here, depending on how the flak gun gets involved. I really love the Spitfires. I wish we saw them more often, because just look at the excellent agility, the exceptional agility, and what that means for just AI micro. It makes such a difference to the AI microing units. SPW 231 goes down there to the Cromwell, the last surviving unit in the area. A counter push from Strelke with the Piats. Looks like Ortfine has noticed the flat gun. Doesn't queue up any artillery at this point though. And it looks like ElBowser's attack I think it's been successful enough. Will this Panzerschreck be able to get the kill? I think the Cromwell is just out of range. But it is being manoeuvred into a position where if Ortfine makes one wrong move, that Panzerschreck will get the kill. In fact, especially actually if ElBowser does move it down this line. No, it is in range, lot. Wow. That was tight. That was tight, but much respect for ElBowser noticing the ability to get that kill onto the Cromwell. And we see a Panzer Grenadier push coming into the centre as well. So we are 17 minutes into this game. ElBowser still has a 13-11, has had it for some time. And you just look at the battlefield, it's completely full of units now. Thanks to the Maverick income, 170 points of income in B phase. Both players had access to it, and yeah, both players have fully utilised it. The number of units on the battlefield, incredible. The Pack 40 did drop off into a nice position to get some side shots along this road, and the Volksdeutsche are actually capturing this flag here, which is, again, I think I commented on this last week. I don't feel like that should be the case. It is now finally kind of surrounded. Hurricane comes in to gets the full kill on the Pack 40 there. Wasn't quite expecting the full kill. And the Strokey should destroy those Volksdeutsch. They might struggle against the SS Legionnaire, though. They do have the Molotov cocktails. It is 3 versus 1, so we'll have to see how that goes. But the Jagdpanzer and the Stugs are going to be a bit of a problem, though. We do have a 17-pounder somewhere in the area, but not really enough 17-pounders dotted around the battlefield. As the off-map comes into the centre town, and here come the SBW-233s amassed, and the Panzergrenze amassed. Definitely not Steel Division Normandy this game. Here's the 17-pounder. One bounce off the Stug 4. ElBowser quickly notices, and the 17-pounder does not get a second chance. Cromwell goes down to a close-range Jagdpanzer 4 there. That now starts firing on the Shermans, and those Shermans are going to struggle to pen at that distance, which is why I think Ortfine is moving them forwards on fast move, although I still don't think that's close enough. I think it would have been better to leave one up north. I guess the Achilles is on the way in now. Yeah, and the Shermans are going to pull off the road. One forwards, one backwards. And here comes the Achilles. Now, that thing can penetrate the Jagdpanzer, but it is vulnerable itself as well. And the Achilles should get the first shot in here because it is opened top. Hurricane rocket variant coming in there. Ooh, nice amount of stress on that Jagdpanzer. Should allow the Achilles to push forward and get the kill if it can get in the right line of sight. Unfortunately, yeah, now Ortfine moves it down the road to try and get that line of sight, but ElBowser has recovered and is trying to maneuver that tank away. Into the centre, the push was successful, although is being rebuffed. Jagdpanzer does go down to the Achilles. And 17-pounder takes down a 233. That Stug is in a nice position there to ensure that it's not in line of sight of that 17-pounder. As the Panzerschreck moves forward for a potential Sherman kill here. Might well get the Achilles kill. In fact, the Volksdeutsche, I think, nearly got a shot off. Here comes the Panzerschreck. Yeah, it does get the Achilles kill. I mean, it's not going to miss at that range. How often do we see Panzerschreck miss anyway? Very rare. There is just... with the Volksdeutsche, there is just 80 on almost every single unit that's on the battlefield for ElBowser. As the Cromwell 5 goes down there. I think that was to the... I thought that came from one of the Stugs, but I must be wrong. Maybe it was the SIG that before it moved in that forest. And Bowser has started to overwhelm Ortfine down south, I feel. Black 41 from earlier did go down. It looks like we have a second off-map vehicle up north. I'm assuming that's the second one. It might be the repositioned original one. Oh, Strokey nearly goes... No, it does go down in the Bedford truck. Panzerschreck, will they get away? Looks like they will. Yes, they do. Might be able to get another transport snipe. Again, going to come in, I assume, to contest against SPW, oh, in fact, the Marder 3M there. Should be able to get the bombs off here. Ooh, no. I think there was a shot, yeah, from the flak 4188 down here that hit it pretty hard. And because the Hurricanes are a bit slower moving, they are more susceptible to the flak 4188 mil. Panzerschreck's racing forwards to try and get into concealed positions. 17-pounder opens up against the Stug 4 again. ElBowser obviously forgot that was in that position. Ooh, misses again. Although there is considerable artillery fire coming down on that. No, actually, it was the SIG-33 down here that missed its initial shot. It does completely blast it out of the sky with the second one. 13-11 still for ElBowser. He's had it since pretty much the start of the game and has 11 minutes left on the clock to hold on to this. His position in the south is very strong. Although Ortfine does have more units up north, in fact, I think considerably more units up north. ElBowser down south is incredibly strong right now. And the 17-pounders feel a little bit unsupported here. Yeah, this one's going to go down almost immediately. This one, you know, has come in and is almost on the front line. I feel like Ortfine hasn't been able to keep his other units alive to properly support those 17-pounders, but ElBowser, a fantastic player, has skirted around the lines of sight very well. We do now see the Kubilov map making its way back down south. As more Volksdeutsch make their way onto the field. Looks like we have a little bit of an ambitious centre push here from Ortfine. It's not really supported though. Might be a bit of a exploratory push here. Will the Cromwell get out? It looks like they will. $15.92 ElBowser. 4 minutes left on the clock. And victory does seem in hand for ElBowser. A very strong performance from the Germans in this match. $16-8 now. 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. A lot of the commentary, perhaps a little bit dry here, but it's just pretty standard play. There's no real kind of, you know, standout moments right now. Hurricane coming in, doesn't make it forward. The 36 and the 88 combining as again, and yeah, just great play, having the right units up on the field. As the trip line of Stug 4s there just decimates all in front of its path. Yeah. I genuinely don't know what to say. I mean, what do I say? I mean, just good standard play. Now that these Stugs have the position in the south kind of completely sealed off, we do notice some of them start firing up north, and it won't be long before this central flag is taken by the Pioneers after they encounter the Bren. One of the Stugs does go down to Achilles moving down south there. But I don't really see a way back into this game for Ortfine Frederica. He's pulled it back slightly to a 14-10 with some moves down here. Finally probing the north where he does have superior numbers. But I feel like ElBowser probably has traded... I mean, you can see just the amount of units on the board down south that he will be able to push units up north and also call in much more, whereas Ort has to use what he's already got on the field. Spitfire comes in to strafe the IG-33. Lack of AA up north after the Flak 41 went down earlier, and the rocket Hurricane doesn't finish the job off. Wow, that is pretty poor from that Hurricane. And now the one with the... No. I thought this 227 kilogram bomber was going to go after that IG. The Hurricane should... No, called away. I thought he was going to finish him off there with a strafing run. The Panzergrenadiers should go down there, and actually this could be some decent territory for Ortfine. I'm still not sure he has a legitimate chance of getting back into this. Two of the Stugs have gone down though. Perhaps the off-map could really weaken the defences in this kind of tree line, this square patch of trees. And some very good movement up north. The Jagdpanzer IV will be a threat. Back to a 12-12. Perhaps I wrote Ortfine off too early here. The half-track is going to go down. Yeah, the Cromwell's just looking to get as far away from that Jagdpanzer line of sight as possible. But with the death of that half-track, the Volksdeutsch might actually take back this flag. It's going to be tight between the infantry and the tank. Here comes the off-map, but there's just nothing to really push in there after the off-map, so I don't think Bowser will be too fussed by that right now. It does weaken the defence, but Ortfine still needs to purchase additional units to push in there. Flak 41 has a line of sight that's pretty unshown on the line of sight tool. Yes, it's the wording. £17 engaging the Stug 4, and the Firefly getting involved as well. 2 to knockout, no kill though. This is the 1C variant from A phase. I was just going in there to check whether it was APCR, but it isn't. So kind of surprised that didn't get the kill on the Stug 4. Sextons, I mean, I'm not quite sure they've really paid themselves off in this game. It's the kind of the story of any kind of artillery except 60mm mortars on Romanians and off-map artillery, really. Yeah, tube artillery is just not a 1v1 tool in this game, which is somewhat of a shame, but balancing is pretty difficult Ooh, here's the Firefly once he now engaging the Jagdpanzer 4. ElBowser does realise. Firefly gets the second shot. Ooh, bounces though. I guess that is at 2 kilometers, so that 170 mils of penetration will have dropped off at max range. 15-9 to ElBowser once again. He's kind of recaptured these northern flags and has strengthened the north. The off map here chasing down the Volksdeutscher to try and get the surrenders. They're just running away. He's mows them down. They don't surrender though. He's now out of his own territory and he's going to reverse away. Oh, fantastic. There we go. That's the kind of moments that I like to see. Sheer hilarity from the Polish forces there. And there's the end of the game. 34 minutes, 8 seconds. Congratulations to ElBowser. Picks up the victory. 3,285 kills to 3,340 losses. So actually trades negative. Commiserations to Ortfein Frederica von Eidelstadt. And what do I do? What do I do? He's traded negative. Do I contact the charity and ask them to pay me money? No, we'll just do the difference between them, and we'll still go for the difference, whether it's positive or negative. So what's that? 3,285 kills minus 3,340. Actually, it's not going to be much at all. It's yeah, 55 points. So what's that times 1 cent? 55 cents. I feel I would feel ashamed donating 55 cents to charity. So we'll make that up. We'll make that up to $5.50. How about that? That would be yeah. That would be a bit shameful, wouldn't it? If any of you want to donate to the charity, I think it's pretty much your last chance to kind of get it within the auspices of the Steel Division 2 charity tournament. Link will be in the description, but yeah, I imagine that link will get closed at some point, so just be aware of that. If you do want to donate, you know, go for the dono now. So I will send off $5.50 along with the, I think it was around about $14 with the previous week's matches. Let's have a look at the kills for ElBowser. Marder 3Ms are really strong right now. You know, the range, I mean, they were strong before, and nothing really changed for them, except everything else got weaker, in a sense, because they kept the same max range. I don't think it's quite 1,200. I don't think it's quite 2,000. I think it's 1,750 on the range now, but it's basically the same. Whereas a lot of the early units that would come up against Marders, especially early units, don't fire anywhere near that range. So, especially the allied early units as well, like Shermans. So the Marder 3M has benefited massively from the Burning Baltics update. The Ju-87D3 gets the Vickers kill. The G1 did come in. Actually, that picked up first kill of the game. Axel Rose in the Ju-87 G1 picking up the Cromwell 5 kill there. But Ortfein reacted pretty well to those JUs and got the Spitfire out, and that did the job. And it was really good to see the AI had no problems whatsoever microing the aircraft, because we know there are issues with air micro on fighters, and part of that problem clearly demonstrated today is the fact that the Spitfire has exceptional agility that microed around the battlefield by the AI absolutely fine. So take it and run with it, make some changes based off it. But yeah, That's not going to happen, is it? What else do we have to say here? Some great Panzerschreck kills. I've got to say, I think Bowser did use his infantry AT really well. He picked up a few half tracks, but don't underestimate the half tracks, especially when, you know, they could combine together. Like 3 half tracks on 1 infantry unit will just decimate that unit, so it's important to take those out. And the other Panzerschreck here, picking up the Achilles kill. This was in the south, and the Cromwell 5 as well. SBW233 did a great job of clearing up the Morris vehicles and a few units. I'm not quite sure whether that was the centre or the southern position. Stug 4s, I think, did enough. I wouldn't say they like traded exceptionally well, but they certainly traded enough value for sure. The IG-33 was a great pick against the 17-pounders. We can see that there on the kill list. Another Panzerschreck kill against the Cromwell 6. And another one down here, although it's only a half track that time. Let's have a quick look at the kills for Ortfine. It was interesting as well because ElBowser's initial push with all of his infantry just got slaughtered by the Polish with those fast moving Cromwells, especially the way that ElBowser had ordered those tractions really far forward. I just don't think perhaps he just forgot about how fast the Cromwells are. But yeah, his infantry got slaughtered out in the open, didn't it, at the very start of the game, but he recovered very well. And the Cromwells did a great job, really, didn't they? Sexton came in, did kill an IG-33, and will have combined, I'm sure, with the other Sexton to get the Flak 88. Perhaps not, because I would have thought it would be on the kill board by now. 17-pounder, picks up a couple of kills, but not quite enough. I think it was just the infantry that... Well, really, it was that southern push that was just the backbone of what Bowser's victory, really, wasn't it? Because his initial push over the open ground got slaughtered. I think Ortfine then had a decent kind of remaining early portion of the game, and then the off map came in. I think it was like early B phase, just decimated that southern compound, and the troops just didn't stop. They just kept going. They just kept going in those transports, and yeah, that just exposed the entire line, and Bowser pulled everything in there, and yeah, that was job done for ElBowser. Congratulations to him, and he does win the Steel Division 2 charity tournament number 2. Picking up the victory against Gonzo in one of the previous matches last week. So if you didn't watch that, make sure you go back and check that one out. It's a rare chance to see Gonzo losing on the channel. So go take that opportunity. And yeah, 5-0 for Bowser. So he played 5 games. Every player played 5 games in the charity tournament. Bowser won all 5 games, including against Gonzo. So a worthy winner, I feel. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss any action.